Today, we will talk about a tool, or method that has been used for over half a century to gain better understanding of companies' aspects. This tool is SWOT analysis. Now, let's learn more about this methodology. SWOT analysis was created in the 1960s by Albert Humphrey of the Stanford Research Institute during a study conducted to identify why corporate planning consistently failed. Since its creation, SWOT has become one of the most useful tools for business owners to start and grow their companies. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Good companies engage in an annual SWOT analysis to better understand their companies and their futures. It is a technique for assessing the four aspects of your business. SWOT analysis makes the most of what you've got, to your organization's best advantage. It also reduces the chances of failure by understanding what you're lacking and eliminating hazards that would otherwise catch you unawares. The SWOT methodology have numerous advantages. By using SWOT analysis, company aims to ensure mitigation of risks and losses. Thus, its benefits includes: firstly, it serves as a problem domain, which means it can be applied to an organization, organizational unit, individual or team. In addition, the analysis can support a number of project objectives. For example, the SWOT method can be used to evaluate a product or brand, an acquisition or partnership, or the outsourcing of a business function. Secondly, SWOT analysis is conducted by specifying an objective and conducting a brainstorming session to identify internal and external factors that are favorable and unfavorable to the objective's achievement. This approach remains the same whether the analysis supports strategic planning, opportunity analysis, or product development processes, which ensures neutrality in its application. And third, SWOT analysis requires neither technical skills nor training. Instead, it can be performed by anyone with knowledge about the business in question and the industry in which it operates. The process involves a facilitated brainstorming session during which the four dimensions of the SWOT analysis are discussed. Lastly, because SWOT analysis requires neither technical skills nor training, a company can select a staff member to conduct the analysis, rather than hire an external consultant. In addition, SWOT is a somewhat simple method that can be performed in a fairly short time, thus saving expenditure of time and funds. Moving on, in the time of the current crisis, all companies needs to reanalyze their four aspects of SWOT. To cope up with the obstacles imposed by this pandemic, an entity needs to manage its strengths and opportunities, and use them to mitigate any threats faced in external environment due to its internal weakness. Also, it is necessary to assess the impact COVID-19 is having on industry players, which will ultimately help in better formulation of future policies and strategies during the recovery phase. Now, let's understand the four aspects of SWOT analysis. First is strength. It is an inherent capability of organization, which it can use to gain strategic advantage over its competitors. Strength describe what an organization excels at, and what separates it from the competition. For example, a strong brand, loyal customer base, unique technology, and so on. Second is weakness. It is inherent limitation or constraint which creates strategic disadvantage to the organization. Weaknesses stop an organization from performing at its optimum level. They are areas where the business needs to improve to remain competitive. A weak brand, higher than average turnover, high levels of debt, are some examples. Third is threat. It is an unfavorable condition in organization's external environment, which causes a risk or damage to the organization's position. These are the factors that have the potential to harm an organization. Common threats include things like rising costs for materials, increasing competition, tight labor supply, and so on. And the last one is opportunity. It is a favorable condition in an organization's external environment, which enables it to strengthen its position. These are the favorable external factors that could give an organization a competitive advantage. For example, if a country cuts tariffs, a car manufacturer can export its cars into a new market, which would lead to increasing sales and increasing market share. Now we will discuss how this pandemic will affect our SWOT analysis. The four aspects of our SWOT analysis will not be the same as they were before this crisis. Let's look at the effects on each of our aspect. Firstly, let's study the strength. The strength of your organization prior to the crisis may not be the same when you enter the recovery phase. The strengths that allowed you to be successful and move forward in the past may be different from the ones that will make you successful in recovery. Thus, businesses should focus on their strengths and determine whether or not it will be effective in COVID-impacted environment. Second, the weaknesses. In any crisis, the weaknesses change, and unfortunately, sometimes expand. These may include customers who, for safety reasons, are afraid to get out of their houses. In a time when an economic recession is causing severe financial challenges for many customers, attracting new customers using traditional marketing may not be possible. Thus, businesses should work on overcoming and mitigating such weakness with the help of their internal strengths. Third, opportunities. At the time of any crisis, there are opportunities. Perhaps you've heard the quote, "Never let a crisis go to waste." Well, having a crisis may be good for certain businesses, but not for most. To overcome the threats imposed by coronavirus, organizations need to exploit opportunities that include expanding hours, adding weekend hours, hiring highly trained team members, reducing labor costs, reducing supply costs, re-evaluating all expenses with companies that are soliciting business, and being willing to accept lower fees or prices. And last, the threats. Coronavirus has awakened many threats for the organizations, especially for those who were not equipped with crisis management strategies and plans. Threats may include the return of coronavirus, the lingering recession from the crisis, loss of income, higher taxes, and so on. Again, organizations need to ensure that they exploit each opportunity to mitigate the effect of threats on their operations. Thus, businesses needs to re-perform their SWOT analysis for adjusting as per challenges faced due to this pandemic. Then only, organizations can thrive again and help the economy to survive and grow among the pandemic. Please leave a like and subscribe the channel if you want more contents like this in the future.